welcome to another episode of the Malaysian Economy Reality Check video series. In this episode I'm going to be talking about the Bursa Malaysia performance, the Malaysian Stock Exchange. And this will be particularly interesting to those who are viewing who are investors, or at least wannabe investors. So if you're an investor, you know that what you're actually looking at any given point in time is to increase the value of your assets. Prices are really not all that important. So all the work that I've shown you in the previous episodes about inflation, adjusted for inflation adjustments of prices and all that kind of stuff, to some degree we can ignore that here, because I'm going to be comparing two different assets to each other in terms of value, and then you can make your choices based on that instead. So here in front of me I have the KLCI, the main index of the Bursa Malaysia, and I have a link to the description, and I also have a link to Yahoo. That's the source where I've gotten all the prices for the KLCI index share from 2000 until 2012. So let's start by looking at it in terms of price, and then later on we'll be talking about it in terms of value instead, which is what you as an investor will be interested in. So if we start in ringgit terms in 2000, the price was 833 ringgit, and it moves on to, in 2012, 1523. So that's looks like it's going up, not much, but still upwards. Then of course if we take that number and we do an inflation adjustment using the numbers that I've shown you previously, let's take a quick look at that again. So we go to the inflation tab here in this sheet, and we look at the 1 ringgit expressed in value as of 2000, having 2000 as a baseline, and then as the currency supply increases, the value of that ringgit goes down. And finally we get to 2012, where the 1 ringgit in 2000 has now become having the value of 32 cents, with a loss of 68% of value. So that's the inflation adjustment that I'll be using. And if we do that inflation adjustment of the ringgit prices, we see that it starts at 833, and with the inflation adjustment it goes all the way down to 487. So the increase in the ringgit price does not match inflation. And if we look at the gains since 2000 in using this inflation adjustment, we can see that during this period the KLCI index has basically lost 41% in inflation adjusted ringgit. So, but then I know there's a lot of people out there who don't agree with this way of looking at inflation and how I'm using the currency supply. So fair enough, I'll skip that and instead compare two assets directly instead. So here we go to instead comparing gold to the KLCI. So as an investor, I might be holding different assets, and gold might be one of them. And I might be asking myself, okay, should I buy the Malaysian Stock Exchange index or not? And if we look at the price of the index in 2000, I needed 0.78 ounces of gold in 2000, and then as time goes on it gets down all the way to 0.28. So if I'm just comparing these two asset classes, basically it would be madness to buy this index because it's basically crashing in terms of real value when compared to gold, and gold being basically money and having a reasonably stable value over time. So using gold as a baseline, we can see that the index is basically not very good as an investment. However, though, of course, it's definitely worth looking out for the future. So as this line goes down, you're basically wanting to find the lowest point when the value of the KLCI index is at its lowest when compared to gold or any other asset classes that you are holding, of course. And then convert whatever gold you have, maybe, if you feel like it, to the KLCI share, and hopefully see an upward trend instead. But over the past 10 years, I think it's safe to say that holding gold would have been a better idea than holding the KLCI share if you're an investor. And if you think you're an investor but you're not thinking in these terms, in terms of value of assets, if you're using these kind of graphs instead, where you look at prices, you probably are not an investor, actually. This is kind of unimportant when you're looking at assets and different values of assets. So if investors would look at the value of the index like this, then I see no reason why we as sort of normal Malaysians shouldn't also be looking at the value in the same way. I guess we look forward to the KLCI coming to its bottoming out in terms of value, where it would be a good buy. But as you can see right now, it's still on the downward trend. So that's it for this video basically. I hope you have a better understanding of the performance of the KLCI index on the Malaysian Stock Exchange, and hopefully you can make good use of that in your own decisions. I would like to just point out that these videos are informational mainly. They do not constitute financial advice. So if you want financial advice, you should talk to a financial advisor on how to deal with your particular investments. But interesting nonetheless. So that's it for today's reality check, and thank you, and I'll see you next time.